I'm Onnie Michalsky. I'm a clinical therapist and a wellness coach, and I work with women to help them improve the way they feel, to improve their overall health, physical, mental, emotional well-being by adopting the skills and the habits of a healthy lifestyle, and by challenging the underlying beliefs and the thoughts that are causing them that are preventing them from living their best life. So I thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about anger and what it is, what it isn't, and how to best manage it in a healthy way. So let me just start off by explaining what anger is. Anger is totally okay to have. It is a natural response. It's a feeling. It's actually a secondary emotion, which we'll get into in a couple minutes. But it is completely natural to have. You know, a lot of times we'll feel anger. It can range from just simple irritation to an intense fury, like that anger that just builds up and may come out in unhealthy ways. So it's completely natural to have. We feel anger. Maybe if we feel threatened, or we believe that we're going to be harmed by somebody, or if somebody does something that we don't particularly like or agree with, we may start feeling anger. Now, anger is a secondary emotion, like I just mentioned a minute ago, and what that means is usually anger is, it's easier to feel anger. It's more acceptable to feel anger than to allow yourself to be vulnerable and to experience those underlying emotions. So what I mean by that is many times we feel angry, but when we dig a little deeper, we find that it's masks a different emotion, such as maybe you feel hurt or discouraged or disappointed or lonely or betrayed. All of those other feelings are masked by anger. Now, of course, at times you may just feel angry, and that's just it. But more typical is it actually is masking another deeper emotion. But I just want to stress here that feeling angry is a natural anger. We're given a whole range of emotions, and anger is just one of them. So it's okay to feel angry. So I'm going to move this a little bit. Let me close my laptop. Okay. So let's get into how to actually manage your anger when you are experiencing this emotion. This is a little crooked. All right, good. So number one, recognize it early. Recognize that you're feeling angry. Many times, almost every time, you're going to notice some physical cues. Whether that is, when you're feeling intense anger, you might be shaking, or your temperature might rise. I picture the old cartoons where the smoke comes out of the cartoon character's ears because he's so angry that anger actually comes out as a physical heat. And the same thing happens in real life. Our temperature might rise when we feel heated. We feel angry. You might raise your voice. There might be some shaking, some sweatiness. All of these are physical cues. And when I've worked with clients, when they're learning ways to manage their anger, a lot of times we'll use an anger thermometer. And this is when we kind of dissect, well, what does it look like when you are at a 0 or a 1? When you're feeling totally calm and you're not feeling angry. What does that look like? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? How do you experience a number 0 or a number 1? And we work our way up until, what is that intense anger, like the thing that makes you just boil alive? What does that look like for you? And we use that we use that anger thermometer to assess which level of anger that person is experiencing. So now you can use the same thing and, start by talking about it and recognizing what are those signs or what are those cues that mean that you are starting to feel angry. And once you recognize it, then you can know that, then you can develop the skills that are going to prevent you from reaching that 10 level. So number 2, take a time out. And this can come in many ways, just walking away from the situation, maybe practice some breathing. I've worked with clients who like to count, like they automatically, like when they recognize those cues, they give themselves a timeout by counting to 10, or by practicing some deep breathing, or by removing themselves from the situation. And this helps a lot if you're in a confrontation and it starts getting heated with another person, because many times you cannot think rationally, and when in the midst of a confrontation, or in the midst of your anger boiling, or your anger getting more intense. So taking a time out and agreeing that you will come back and revisit whatever it is that needs to be worked out, but taking that time out and calming yourself down will go a long way. So taking a time out is a great way to manage your anger. I mentioned deep breathing, and which is another technique all in itself. Whether you're counting, maybe you inhale to a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, and exhale to a count of 4. Do that a few times to actually bring yourself down to that calm state. And a lot of the breathing exercises and relaxation exercises that I use with clients, I stress to practice it when you are calm, because when you are in the heat of the moment, or you're experiencing anger, you're not going to remember to do this. But it's almost like muscle memory, where if you practice it when you're calm, your body and your mind come to recognize what that state of calmness feels like, and it's much easier for it to go to there when you are in the moment. So some breathing, some relaxation exercises can help when you're working to manage your anger, when you're learning to manage it. Exercise. Done some videos about this before, but exercise does wonders for your mental health and your physical health and your emotional health, but it also does wonders when you're working to control your anger, when you are experiencing much more anger than you would like. Get out there, get your endorphins going, those feel-good chemicals that your brain releases during exercise can help you manage your anger. Believe it or not, it covers the gamut. The more you exercise, the more you will find that you're able to manage your anger better. Expressing your anger. Okay, so back in the old days, I've read that they can, they used to be like, oh, you're angry, go out and like punch a pillow, or punch a punching bag, or get that aggression out. Go out and scream at the top of your lungs and get the. But studies have found that anger breeds anger, so it doesn't necessarily release your anger when you go out and you take it out on something. Hopefully not somebody, but finding ways. A lot of times anger is confused with aggression, and that's where it crosses the line into being harmful rather than healthy management of anger. So you definitely want to express your anger in a healthy way, and that may mean finding ways to be assertive, practicing I statements, and learning ways to express your anger and your feelings, not just anger, but all of those other feelings, maybe those primary emotions that I talked about earlier, but learning ways to assert them and express them with words, as opposed to actions, instead of stomping and punching and all of those like fierce actions, because aggression is more equated with a behavior, where anger is more equated with the emotion. So finding ways to express that anger using your words to be able to get your needs met, and be able to get, if it is feeling betrayed or feeling lonely, how can you meet those needs so that it doesn't cross over the line and get you to number 10 on the anger thermometer. So learning how to express your anger is another way to manage it in a healthy way. Finally, visualization, and this is similar to like guided imagery and bringing yourself to that happy place. And again, just like the relaxation techniques, it works it works if you practice it when you're calm, when you're in a calm state, and you can identify, use your senses. Bring yourself to that happy place. What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you smelling, touching, hearing? all of that in your happy place. And the more you practice and the more it's almost like a meditation, the more you do it when you're calm, your body and your mind, again, will remember what that's like, and it will be more easily recallable. Is that even a word? You'll be more easily able to recall it when you're in the moment. So visualization can work very well if you practice it and you become comfortable using it. So through all these, I just want to, if you take anything away from this video, I just want you to know that it is okay to get angry. It really is okay. It's a natural emotion, a natural response, and it's okay to feel angry. But just, kind of dig a little deeper. Don't just say, oh, I'm hard, I'm an angry person. That's not acceptable. It's, what is it? Identify your triggers. Get that anger thermometer, see what are those physical cues, and then practice these ways so that you can manage it and it doesn't interfere with your functioning or in your relationships. So let me know in the comments, what coping skills do you use? Have you used any of the things that I mentioned today during this video? Or is there some other ideas that you have that have worked for you to be able to manage your anger? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what works, what you've tried, if you've struggled. I also offer a free consultation, and this is if you're interested in working with me one-on-one. I'm also looking into doing some therapy groups. So this will be some psychoeducation groups where we'll do it online, of course, because of COVID, but be able to work with you personally to be able to help you develop these skills, to deal with anger and to deal with other emotions that you're experiencing, whether that be depression symptoms or anxiety or loneliness, and all of these symptoms that have been cropping up a lot lately, especially because of COVID and the social distancing that we're doing. So be on the lookout for that. I'll let you know when that's coming. I do a Facebook Live every Friday, and usually on topics that I feel are of interest to you. But if there's something that you would like me to do and focus on, something that you'd like me to do a Facebook Live on, please reach out to me. I am way open for suggestions. I want these to mean something to you, and I want them to be of interest to you. So please, if there's something that you would like me to talk about, please let me know. Next week, I will be doing a Q&A, a question and answer, where I choose 5 questions that you, members of the group, and my followers, questions that you would like to know about physical health, mental health, women's health, how counseling is, how coaching works, all of that. Any questions that you have, please email them to me or just send me a Facebook message. I'd love to get them answered here on the Facebook Live. So I thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Take care of yourself.